Anyway, we back. We're playing Pokemon Shield, a little bit more of Pokemon, and obviously keeping the conversation going because there's always stuff to talk about, to say the least. I love that classic
God, hi!
streamer. I was muted. Oh yes, that happens to me quite often. Sorry, I missed some of the chat. No, don't worry. I mean, I've been live for like an hour, for a little bit over an hour, so I'm not expecting people to come to the stream like the second I start, and none of that, so I get it. Don't worry about it. How's your day going so far? I've seen that perhaps it's not quite the beginning of the day that you were envisioning, but but you know, all things considered, how's everything going? Ace, thank you so much for hosting. I don't know if I said it. If I didn't, I'm saying it again. Does Ruby not know his music is still playing? It was my Spotify. You went to bed upset, you woke up upset. Oh, girl. I had to do some deep breaths because, and I had to, and I was saying this earlier, you just have to let go of, like, sometimes you just have to let go of what other people will say or paint you as. And it's one of those things where I think maybe you relate to me a little bit on that, where you don't want to actively make enemies. You don't actively want to have people within the community that you're a part of kind of see you as a bad person or this or that. So it can be interesting to be painted as the bad guy when you know you're not, like, your intentions aren't inherently bad, or you're just saying stuff that shouldn't really be taken as some sort of attack or as some sort of attack or a personal, like, offense or whatever. Like, we do a talk show, for God's sake, you know, like, we our thing is to be opinionated, and of course those opinions carry over because I'm not always streaming, so sometimes I have my opinions when I'm not streaming, and I like to share them when I'm not streaming. Like everybody does, you know. So yeah. You were going to message me, but, like, fuck Twitter was not nice to you last night. Like, oh my god. To me? I must have missed something. Like, no, yeah. It wasn't Twitter, unfortunately. Like, to me, the thing that the thing that was a little bit more jarring to me was, so every once in a while when I'm streaming, I don't say it, but I look at the viewer list. Like, I look at who's watching, I look at, like, who's around, just to get an idea. Like, obviously not everybody speaks in chat, but it's cute. It's nice to know, like, who's showing support and who's here, even if they're quiet, right? So I'm not always, like, actively looking at it, but every once in a while I check, just to see, you know, who's listening and who's lurking and all that stuff. But I never call it out. I never message anyone. But I noticed a couple of familiar names as we were talking about, you know, different people and different things yesterday. And then I went to watch a VOD, and then I saw those familiar faces talking shit and saying that I was copying someone else, and stuff like that, and kind of making my criticisms come across as like, oh, he's jealous, you know, like, he's jealous because he's copying you and he's not seeing the same level of success as you. And it's like, well, first of all, I've always talked about different topics and about different, like, celebrities, Twitch streamers. Like, I've had my talk show. I've had different talk shows going on even from before I started streaming. So to me, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna copy someone. It's just like, when I'm not filming an episode of Breakfast at Ruby's, I wanted to have little sections on my streams where I talk about those things. And I'm not doing what other people are doing, where, you know, I know in this specific occasion, they were comparing me to the Green Dumpling. And they were saying like, oh, he's copying you, he's jealous of you. And the thing is, like, my Twitter thread was... the first part of it was inspired by him, because I did quote him by saying like the best friend thing that he was saying, but most of it wasn't just about him. It was literally about the community as a whole, and as you know, it was about other people that were defending straight allies. It was about a whole of different it was about an entire different set of situations that were culminating, and I just kind of grouped everything together. And maybe that was my bad. Maybe I should have been more clear that, you know, they're separate issues. Or, I mean, they're not separate issues, but it were separate people that I was mentioning, or I was kind of talking about. But then again, it's not like you go on a tweet and you just say like, okay, this is about this person, this is about that person. It's like, no, I was just rambling. It was like 11 p.m. for me. I was rambling. Not really expecting anything to come of it, because I was just stating general opinions about things. And, you know, of course you have people in mind when you say those things, but it didn't come from a place of jealousy. Like, if you even read my threads, it was like, it wasn't me judging how other people grow their streams either. It was me just saying like, that's like not a good way to do it, because then people are gonna have certain expectations of you. People are gonna portray you a certain way. People are gonna see you a certain way. So like, for me, it was never about like, oh, I'm gonna be judging people. And I kind of saw a little bit of a subtweeting thing the next day with a couple of creators being like, why are we judging how other people make a living? Or why are we judging how others like grow their streams and whatever, like mind your business kind of thing. And they were saying like, and then I'm just gonna say it. And then SETI's mods were saying, and they were lurking on my stream too, a couple of them, and they ended up on his stream being like, oh, they're jealous. Oh, they're jealous that they're copying you and it didn't work in their favor. And it's like, you know that your favorite, and then that's when I went on my second mini rant, when I was like, you know, your favorite didn't come up with this, right? Like, you know that I've been doing this for longer than they've been streaming. So I started on YouTube a long time ago. And honestly, let me read what you guys are saying. I don't wanna rant and not read what you guys are saying. You almost made a video vlog to say it's the third week of January. Can we like take a breath and calm down? Because the drama with everyone all over the place about everything. It's easy to take tweets personally, and I feel like to feel like they might be about you, it can make people anxious. I just want to say, can we stop the subtweeting, please? Can we DM each other and solve our problems? Like, damn. I did consider, instead of doing a thread, I should have added the person. Like when you see a tweet that you don't really agree with, I think it's better. It's probably a better approach to add the person and be like, hey, maybe this is not the best approach, or even to DM them like, hey, like I saw your tweet, like maybe I have a couple concerns about that, because I wouldn't want you to be seen as like an accessory to that community or wherever. And then I guess we could have more of a exchange of ideas, and it could even bring more of a discussion about like, hey, do you want to like talk about it, even if it's like privately? Do you want to have a call where we kind of exchange ideas about how we can be more supportive of one another as a community and stuff like that? Like, it's probably it would probably be a better approach. And it is what it is. Like, I was annoyed, and I went for it. But for people to think that like, oh, and then they took what I said about like, oh, those creators should uplift the community more rather than using their platform to promote like straight people and stuff like that. They took that as me being bitter because they didn't raid me. I was like, no, that's not like I was like, no, that's not what I meant. Like I was I was talking about, for example, at TwitchCon, if you watched the gayest panel, there was a moment where Hey Guys, the person whose emote is Hey Guys, she's a straight woman, and she had a moment where in the Q&A she was like asking about the LGBTQIA tag. And I remember and Seti gave her a shout out. He was like, "Oh, that's Hey Guys, the emote. Oh my god!" And then she asked the question about the tag, and I was like, and I went to her stream the next day, and I was like, "Wow, thank you for like as an ally. I thought it was really cool of you to ask about the tag rather than just using it, and then, and then, like, you know what I mean, like without like the input of the community or whatever." And I remember her saying like, she was like, "Oh, we actually planned that. Like me and Seti planned that." She was like, "Oh, he told me that he wanted to give me a shout out, and I should ask like a question so that he would give me a shout out." And I was like, and that stayed in the back of my mind of like, well, damn, you're going on a gay panel to supposedly like promote the community and talk about the community, and then you're gonna promote like a cis straight woman, like, you know what I mean? And I didn't say that on like anywhere because I honestly I'm done with the conversation kind of, because I just feel like people are gonna twist things the way that they want to anyway. So at this point I'm just like, you know what, we're not. And we already talked privately, me and Seti, and he woke up to like basically shade me on his stream. So, it's one of those things where you're like, okay, I did my part. We talked privately about this, and I thought the conversation was rather civil. And then for the sake of content, he came the next day, for him, like he woke up to like shade me, and I was like, okay, and it was interesting to see people that I've interacted with because I've been in his stream team, and see those people like clearly they didn't know me at all. You know what I mean? They were like talking all that shit, being like, oh yeah, he's jealous because you didn't rate him enough or whatever. And I was like, no, that's not at all the issue. Like by this point I even left the team, so like I don't care. And I wasn't even at TwitchCon, and I didn't mention the TwitchCon thing because, like I said, there's no point. There's always going to be another excuse. There's always going to be something else that they say to back their point. So at this point, I'm just done fighting. But I do remember that was one of the occasions where, you had an opportunity to, if you wanted to do that thing of like, oh, you're not on the panel, like talk to a queer person and be like, hey, I know you're not on the panel, but like, come ask me a question, or come ask a question, and I'll be like, oh my god, that's my friend, oh my god, he's so cool, and give that person a shout out, rather than being like, oh yeah, let's call a straight woman in here and let's promote her on the gay panel. Like, that's fucked up to me, And I wish I took receipts of that, because clearly that's something that I could have addressed at the time, and I could have messaged him, and I could have messaged her, and I could have been like, hey, I don't think this is cool. Like, I could have taken a receipt from the gayest panel, and I could have taken a receipt from her stream admitting that she planned that with Seti. But, there's no proof of it anyway. Like, it's a he said, she said. I don't know if anyone took any clips of it. But I remember showing Passion that as well. I was like, wow, I used to watch her. I used to watch Hey Guys, and I was like, well, I'm unfollowing. I don't, and I showed Passion privately. I was like, well, it's over, And it sucks, it sucks that, I you know, it was like I felt like baited again. Like I was like, oh wow, that person is so thoughtful. She's like asking because she has a gay audience. She's asking if it's okay to use the tag because she's also like she's supportive of us. But then it's like, well, no, she just used that opportunity, and not even she used the opportunity. She was given an opportunity by a queer streamer to promote herself on the gay panel. You know, like to me, I just thought that was very backwards and a little bit unacceptable. But you know, he's gonna say, like, he was saying this on his stream. He was saying that he supports gay and queer streamers because he's had interviews with gay and not just gay, but LGBTQIA members. He said that he's had them on his show before, but it's like, okay, that's, you know, supporting the community isn't about like giving someone a shout out either. Like that's one way to do it. God damn it, I keep clicking on summary. But it's little things like that. Like, why are you promoting that person when you could have been promoting someone who's trans in the audience that may have not been invited for the panel, and you could have been like, hey, let me give you a shout out. Like, ask me a question and I'll give you a shout out. You know what I mean? Just little things like that. It's messed up that people will put up what seems to be a front in private. Like, when an issue seems to be left at a decent place, someone will go out and continue to say things, which kind of makes talking it out in the first place counterintuitive. Yeah, Ace. Yeah, and you know, even in this conversation, there's the overarching theme, and I saw this on the VOD, on Seti's VOD as well, because he was streaming at the same time as me, and I noticed that I saw his mods on my stream while I was streaming, and I was like, okay, they're on to me, so I'm gonna be on to them too. I'm gonna watch the stream because I knew he was gonna say something. So, and he did, and I at first I was like, well, damn, like, we had a private conversation. Like, of course we didn't end the conversation being like, wow, I agree with you or whatever, but the conversation was just kind of left in limbo. And then the next, like, the conversation gets picked up publicly, kind of, you know what I mean? And he didn't say my name, but there was that underlying theme of, like, he said it privately and he said it publicly. He said, like, oh, I could have gone after this person. I could have said something publicly to this person, but I didn't because they're a member of the LGBTQIA community, and I wouldn't want to drag them down. But it's like, okay, you're just kind of like flexing your power. Then you're saying like, oh, I could have gone after them, but I didn't. It's like, okay, what's stopping you, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like you want a badge for being a nice person, but you're saying that you could have been mean if you wanted to. Like, okay. I completely get what you mean. Of course, to be able to include everyone would be great, but if there's a specific thing dedicated to a community that doesn't get a lot of representation, to use that to promote the already majority population is just like, what? Yeah, exactly. And that was like, I remember at that time, I was like, okay, I need to leave this team. Like, I don't want to be associated with him because he's, even when they were talking about serious conversations, he would make like, he would take certain opportunities to make a joke out of it, or to make a little like one-liner about it. And it's like, no, we're having like important conversations. These people are talking about issues that we have in the platform, and sometimes to like brush it off as like, and I get everyone is different. Like, some people, that's how they process information, that's how they get their that's how they express themselves, you know. They make jokes, and that's just their way of, you know, doing things. But I remember just being like, well, yeah, I don't know if I want to stay in this team anymore, because I don't like the idea of like you being on a panel to talk about like topics and issues about like a community that's scrutinized daily on the platform, and to kind of take that as a, okay, let's turn that into my stand-up comedy show. Let's, you know, every time I get the mic on my face, I'm gonna make a joke about something, you know. Do you know what I mean? And this is not to drag him, not at all. I'm just saying that I wish for better, and people take my words and they say like, oh, he's asking for these things, but he's tearing other people down and all that. But I'm like, I'm not tearing anyone down. I'm just like saying, like, I wish things could have been handled differently. I wish we could have, yeah, just that, honestly. And I wish people grew their streams and grew their communities in ways that wouldn't affect the rest of the community negatively, Because if you're gonna be, like, even if that's who you are, but if you're gonna be a stereotypical gay on stream, then people are they're gonna have those expectations when they go into other gay people. You know what I mean? Like, when they go into other gay people's streams, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, they're gonna expect that from you. And there's nothing wrong with necessarily that expectation, but like, I'm just me. Like, I'm not him. I'm not, even with that, it's like, they see two gay people doing a talk show, or they see two gay people talking about pop culture and then playing a video game. Then it's like, oh, he's copying you. Like, no. Like, do you see how many straight people do that? Like, do you see how, like, like, that's kind of my problem. It's like, sometimes people just put an issue under the rug and they're like, oh, it's jealousy. Oh, he's jealous. Oh, he's bitter. Like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm literally not. I'm just saying, like, it's annoying to see certain things and certain, and that's kind of another thing with that is, like, these people claim to be allies, but they take the first chance to, like, take down another streamer that is a part of the community to bring up their fave. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you're not really an ally. You just love this one person. You just love them a lot to the point where you're not willing to listen to any criticism that gets thrown their way. You know what I mean? Hi, Addison. How are you? You completely get what I mean. Of course, to be able to include... Oh, I already read that. You feel like some people don't understand the voice that they have, that so many people don't get, so they don't take it seriously. To be in a position of say or power and to use that to not boost the community's morale and exposure, I really couldn't explain why someone would want that. To me, I said that on my Twitter thread. I don't know if you read it or not, Ace. I said, like, I don't know how they don't see a problem with this. And it's not just SETI. Again, it's, like, he's not the only person who does this. I think there's people who have less of a platform than him that do way more damage than him. I'm just saying. Like, he's not the bad guy here. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm criticizing a tweet or the language of a tweet that he had, or a couple of actions that I thought were questionable. But at the end of the day, he's not the enemy. You know what I mean? Like, in the big picture of things. But I wish that, like, even the conversation came about him not feeling welcomed in the gay community, in the LGBTQIA community. Him saying that he was sharing that the gays don't really give him money because he's not like that typical white muscly streamer, and that's a sad reality as well, and I suffer from that too. Like, I'm not that typical, I'm not that attractive insta gay that has like a six pack and I have like huge guns and perfect skin. Like, I am not that either, you know what I mean? But I do think that it's a two-way street as well. Like, if you don't feel supported by the community, you can be, like, when you reach a position of power or a position of, not privilege, but when you reach a position where you have more of a voice, then you can show that love to maybe other people like you, like other people that may not be the stereotypical like attractive gay that gets the more views or more support because they're attractive. And that's also not to diminish someone's talent, because these people aren't getting views because they're attractive only, you know? Like, I've seen attractive streamers that are incredibly kind, incredibly inclusive, but I've also seen attractive streamers who are not really at the top of the category because people see through that, like, it all they have is being attractive, you know? So like, it's not just one or the other. And I do think that it's silly to kind of put the entire community under the same umbrella of like, oh, yeah, gay people only support attractive guys. And that's not fully true. Like, it's true to a certain degree. I'm not going to lie and deny that reality. But it's also a two-way street, you know? Like, if you have a platform, you can use it to bring opportunities to that. I'm not saying, like, give people shout-outs, but, you know, have discussions on camera about those things. Or, I don't know, like, there's so many things. Obviously, I'm talking off the top of my head. But, you know, it's not about a shout-out. It's not about raid. It's not about a host. Like, it's not about any of that, you know? Like, Steady has raided me before. That's not the issue. Like, and when someone raids you, you usually won't keep the audience anyway. Like, the people are there for like a few minutes and then they leave because they already watched their favorite streamer for a few hours, you know? Like, it's not jealousy at all. Like, I've been rated by him before, and he's always been, every time he's done so, I've been grateful for it, and I never expected, or, you know, it was never something that I was like, oh yeah, I should have gotten that, I deserve that. Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, it's not and I'm not expecting a raid or a host to like suddenly make me a partner or anything like that. That's not even like on my radar. Like, I'm focusing on my content because I know I have a lot to work on, and I have so much growth personally, not even like numbers wise. I have so much I can learn and so much I can grow as a person that it's very reductive to be like, oh yeah, he's not getting like double digits or triple digits like you do, so he's clearly jealous of you. Like, no, like, that's not, you know. I've been on YouTube since 2014 or 15, and I've been on Twitch since 2016, and if numbers were my issue, I would have quit for like a long time ago. That's not why I started to begin with, you know. Like, of course, you know, as I grow and as I develop as a human, I would love to see success mirroring that. Obviously, you know, like, when you think you're doing something great, you want to be rewarded greatly. But I don't think I'm doing something that great anyway, you know what I mean? Like, I think what I'm doing is, like, I'm live and I'm having fun and I'm doing my thing, but I do have projects and ideas that go beyond what I'm doing right now, but I may not have the funds for it, I may not have the resources for it, or the time, or the space, or whatever. So I'm just enjoying the ride, you know? And, you know, being on Twitch for that long, and being on the internet for that long, people's success are very, like, flimsy. Like, one day you're the top streamer, tomorrow you're not, you know? And there's a lot of factors that go into it. So another thing that I will say is, like, the tables turn quite often, you know? What goes up must come down, and the other way around, you know? Like, it happens to everyone. So don't think that your fave is gonna be immune to, like, getting a viewership drop, or for them to say something ignorant and for something to explode on their face or anything like that. I'm not saying that that's gonna happen, because I don't think he's a bad person. That, like, at the end of the day, I don't think Seti is a bad person. I just happened to not agree with some things that he said or did or whatever. But at the end of the day, I do respect him, and I am grateful to have been on his team. I was one of the first few people to be on his team, you know what I mean? And I was proud of it, and I was happy to be on the team. And I never took it as an opportunity to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna become besties with him, and I'm gonna try to get his clout. Like, that never happened. Like, if I wanted to get his clout, I probably would be in his DMs every day, and I would probably be like in his face every day being like, oh my god, did you see this, did you see that? Like I would be up in his ass like other people maybe, you know what I mean? Like that's not, I wasn't in the team to get clout. I was on the team because I wanted to be a part of a community, and for people to like see me leave the community and then be like, oh yeah, he's jealous, or he's bitter because you didn't raid him, or this or that. It's like, no. Like that was not my intention, and I'm glad I left now because I see the toxicity in there. And I see that the people, it's like the second someone criticizes their fave, all of a sudden they have all these things. But up until then, they had nothing bad to say about you. But suddenly, because you said something negative about their fave, then you're like the worst, right? And I don't mind that, like, of course it hurt in the moment. I was like, damn, like these people know of me. Like, how come they think this way about me? But then you have to let go of other people's perceptions about you, and you have to realize that at the end of the day, as long as you know what you're as long as you know what you're all about, and as long as you do the things that you feel are the best thing to do at the moment, then I can sleep at night comfortably and be like, you know what, I may have not been perfect, none of us are, but at least I can say that I didn't do anything out of malicious intent. Like, I didn't do anything to drag or to criticize someone on a personal level, and that's how sometimes things get not misconstrued, because I said what I said. So like, I don't think I got misconstrued, but I think more productive conversations could happen if things didn't get taken too personally and people saw beyond the, oh, this tweet is about me, so I need to be put on a defensive mode because they're attacking me. And that's not the case, Sorry for the rant, but I'm streaming, so I guess I'm allowed to talk a lot. It's my stream. I'm good. I was very cozy and slept in this morning. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm doing good, Addison. Today I'm doing good. Yesterday I wasn't doing bad, but as you can see, there's been stuff going on that I'm gladly open to talk about. As you can see, I don't have any qualms about talking about things too. Like, that's my thing. Like, it is what it is. It happened. It's a conversation that needs to be had, and I had it, and I'm not like ashamed of it, or I'm not like mad about it either. It's like, it is what it is, I wish things could have turned out differently, but it's not up to me to control how someone reacts to what I put out. So it is what it is, and I'm not gonna be regretful about portraying my opinions, because everybody is opinionated. Seti is very opinionated, you know what I mean? And he gets in trouble for his opinions too, and he gets people mad about him for his opinions. Like, everybody does that, when you have an opinion, everybody has an opinion, but when you're vocal about your opinions, not everybody's going to be happy about them, because it's going to affect you in a way, right? And people don't like getting criticized. I don't like getting criticized, you know what I mean? Wait, I think I did something wrong. No, I want to change the box order. Whatever. Oh, I love that Jeff emote. Sorry, I popped out for a bit. I forgot my coffee was ready. Do not worry. I've just been, you popped out and I popped off. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't really pop off. No, it is what it is. Oh, can I? Oh, I need to select, and I missed it. I know. No, I was just saying like I was talking about the criticisms that I've been put through, and I was saying that it's not about a host, it's not about any of that. It's usually not about that, you know. And you know, I was just, you know, I said what I said. I'm not gonna recap everything. For the people like lurking and being like, oh God, please don't say the same things again. For the people lurking like, oh fuck, there he goes again. Hi Sly. No emote, no. Why did, oh, did the gun emote appear like next to my head? That's funny. No, like honestly, I'm still open to like properly have a private or public conversations to people about the things that have been said and done publicly. Like you know, I know what I did didn't come from a place of malice. So I have a clear conscience. Like when I went to bed yesterday, after I went to bed, and after I had to kind of tell myself like, you just gotta let go. Like you can't control how someone like portrays you. You can't control how people like interpret you and how people paint you when they don't agree with you. And it's kind of like when you're used to you know, I'm used to being someone who like I walk in a room and people are usually neutral about me. They're like, yeah, I've never had a bad experience with him, you know, like he's always kind of around, and like people, you know, I don't think people necessarily have a high regard of me, but people, you know, people are usually not, they don't hate me or love me kind of thing. It's like, you know, I'm pretty neutral, I feel like, on a lot of people's radar. But the problem is like when you start being opinionated about things, and of course opinions come from other people's actions, from things that you've seen and things like that. And when people become involved in that, then it turns into like your peers being like, oh, he's talking shit. Some people being like, oh, I knew who you were talking about and I agree. Some people being like, I don't know who you're talking about, but you made a point. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. And sometimes it becomes about like people being like, ooh, who were you talking about? And I'm like, well, this person, but like it's not about that. Like, you know, so my main takeaway is that I'm always open to have conversations. I just don't like putting a thread that has like 6 parts and then for all of it to be seen as like, oh, he's angry, or oh, he's jealous, or he's just mad you didn't rate him. Like, no, you have rated me before, and I don't, you know, I was grateful for it, but I didn't necessarily like grow overnight because of it. You know, my community is my community, you know? Anyway. This VOD, not this VOD, but I usually highlight when I play a game, and this one in specific is gonna be like so loaded with tea. I feel like in 10 years, nobody's gonna know who everyone is, and like I'm gonna watch this back and be like, oh my god, remember when I had drama with someone? Oh god. Anyway, Hammerlock Stadium doubles as an energy plant. Now have a look at my tablet. I've got all the information you need on it. Oh, this is cute. An easy to understand description of the energy plant. First, energy is absorbed from Hammerlock Stadium's tower. Then it's changed into electricity in the underground power plant and delivered to people throughout the region. I have a thing on the way. I have a mug in the way. I can't read. Our lives in society require various types of energy sources, such as electricity, natural gas, and water. My associate groups aim to improve everyone's lives by harnessing the power stored in wishing stars. She's saying everything in his ear. Oh, it's time for me to get to work. I should get a move on before Oliana decides to give me another earful. Ruby, I suggest you head over to the vault next. Just head toward Route 6 from the stadium and you should find the vault without any issues. I thought there was going to be like a gym battle. I guess we're going to continue to explore. Chairman Rose is a cutie, isn't he, Chalora? You almost made a thread, but you decided not to. You're just upset inside and you need to keep it collected. I don't think it's healthy to keep it collected. But at the same time, if you feel like it's not gonna, like, if it's about what I think it is, I don't think furthering the discussion is gonna help in any way. And for that, like, my DMs are open. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Like, sometimes when you know you've had this conversation before and nothing is gonna come of it, then whatever. But I agree with what you said earlier. Twitter is a place for people to express themselves. So, you know I'm not against a thread. You know I love me a thread or two, but, you know, yeah. It's everyone's judgment call at the end of the day. Sorry, only authorized personnel are allowed to take the lift down to the power plant. Welcome to the Pokemart. May I help you? What do you sell? They still don't sell like Ultra Balls or anything like that. Oh, no, I want to talk to the lady. My perception was not good. The uniform shop. Ooh. So this is like some sort of gym situation. Oh, okay. Hi. Hey there! Thanks for rolling by to have a chat with your mate, the ball guy. It looks like you've managed to level up your team quite a bit. Well, guess what? I've got the perfect Pokeball to celebrate the occasion. A level ball. I think I have one already. Oh no, it's not. A Pokeball that makes it easier to catch Pokemon that are at a lower level than your own. A level ball is perfect for high-level teams. The higher your Pokemon's level compared to the opposing wild Pokemon, the easier it will be to catch it. I could give that ball some head. I mean, I stand the ball guy. Pokeballs are just full of surprises, don't you think? I love the ball guy. I want to marry him. You need to gather 7 gym badges if you want to face the Dragon-type user Rayhan. Oh! Okay. I love balls. Ball guy, get away from that kid. No, don't stay away from me. Ball guy is low-key hot. I agree. You know what, Chalora? We're on the same page here. We're on the same page here. I agree. I agree. You know what? Let's go to the vault. I think he said something that it's like on this side of town or whatever. I think... Oh, hello, Leon. Another cutie. Ruby, seems you're doing well collecting gym badges. But Hop... did something happen with him? He was acting really odd when I ran into him. He took one look at me and immediately was like, I'm so sorry, Lee. It might be the first time I've heard him apologize for anything. And I've no idea what it was for. Oh. Maybe he's feeling down because he's had some hard losses in battle. He lost to that challenger Bede. When you lose, you feel down in the dumps. But then, there's nowhere left to go but back up. You've got to think on why it was you lost though. You know, that little brother of mine, I think he might yet become a surprisingly great trainer. Blast, look at the time. I nearly forgot my meeting with the chairman. That Oleana really lets me hear it when I'm late. Now, if only I could remember which way to go. Anyway, I'd say that you should go and say hello to Raihan while you're here, Ruby. He's the greatest rival I've got and the final hurdle you'll have to face in the gym challenge. He should still be around the vault if you hurry. It's down that way, on the way to Route 6. Alright, let's go. I love that he was late for a meeting, but he was like just standing there. You know what I mean? I think the biggest takeaway from me this week was that people will come and go kind of thing. Like, I feel like just as much love as I experienced quote-unquote hate. So for me, it was nice. It was like, I feel like for as many people that I unfollowed or I... what's that word? It's not blocked. It's... when you block someone and you unblock them so that you both unfollow each other but you don't stay blocked. Like soft block. I think that's the word. I feel like for as many people as I like soft blocked and for as many people as I broke mutuals with, I kind of gained mutuals with, you know? Like for as many people that disagree with me, I got people that agreed. So I'm not really like... I kind of developed like not a thicker skin but a different mindset of like, you know what, like people will think what people will think, and you know what you had in mind when you said that and when you did that, and at the end of the day it's not really, you don't have to get everyone's approval, you don't have to agree with everyone, you know what I mean? You just believe in what you believe in and you try to be vocal about things that matter to you without hurting people's feelings as much as you can. And then, you know, people will get their feelings hurt anyway. People will get in their feelings. People will get offended. People will get, will feel targeted and attacked. So there's really no win-win situation, really. But yeah. Ooh, hello there. You're Leon's rival? Oh, if it isn't the trainer endorsed by the champion. Let's see, what was your name again? Oh, right, Ruby. And if Leon himself recognized your potential, then I guess you'll grow into quite the trainer. All the same though, anyone wanting to challenge the mighty Raihan has to prove they're up to it by earning 7 gym badges first. I'm here to visit the vault. Ah, so you're here to see our treasures, are you? Gaining a better understanding of Pokemon by studying history certainly isn't a bad idea. I like your spirit, kid. Follow me, why don't you? Oh, I will follow you. I'll follow you. He's cute. You've seen so much yaoi and fan art on Twitter. Oh yes. People ship him with Leon all the time. You try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt because you think we all have our best interests in our own way to make the world better. Yeah. I agree. And like I said, like maybe things could have gotten handled differently. But, you know, it was just a bad timing. It was just a week where a couple of things were happening back to back that were annoying me about the community, or about a couple of members in the community. I guess I should say a few, because a couple is 2. And it was one of those things where I was like, another person kind of like on their side of things. Like I was just kind of like, ugh, I'm over it kind of thing. But yeah. I'll even spare you one of my league cards. Oh, thanks. Now, on you go. If it's the vault you want, it's up those stairs there. Now I want to see the fan art. Damn. Hammerlock used to be the very center of the Galar region. We keep historical treasures in the vault. It's just up the stairs there. Okay, where are you? Okay, what's this? Who are you? You need permission if you want to enter the vault. I just got it, bitch. Just kidding. Why are they letting this kid into the vault of the city? Like, why, who thought this was a good idea? Because I'm also, like, unsupervised. Like, nobody is here to tell me, like, hey, you can't do that. And here I am picking shit up off of the floor. And stealing shit from the vault without even entering the vault. Well, I guess if I'm the only person exploring the vault, then if anything goes missing, they know it was me. But clearly I'm not, because we have a friend in here. Oh, you're here. Brilliant, aren't they? It's great that there are still treasured tapestries that can tell us of the Galar's history. I can't read. The two youths watching a wishing star. A disaster occurs. The two bewildered youths. The youths looking on at the sword and shield that stopped the disaster. And the youths being crowned. It's the gay royal family. Oh my god. Can't believe that the Galar region is so inclusive. These tapestries tell the story of the creation of a kingdom in Galar. Say, young gym challenger, what sticks out to you most about them? There's the darkest day. Right, that's gotta be it. The story of the black storm that blotted out of the skies was passed on through the years as a tale of disaster. That's what the darkest day is. Was there really only one hero, or were there two? And what even caused the darkest day? Thanks for letting me bounce some ideas off of you. I think I've got some theories now. I'm going to research the tapestries a bit more, but you have your gym challenge, right? I'm cheering for you, so take a couple of these. I'm hoping to see more of your wins. Aw, 2 revives. That's sweet. That's sweet of her. She's like, you know what? You might die on your journey a lot, so here's 2 revives. Oh, is that it? That's it for the vault? 4 tapestries? When you say the vault, I assume it's gonna be like money. I'm not gonna assume it's tapestry. Oh hey, you've been waiting for me. The tapestries in the vault depict the heroes of the Galar region's past. I suppose if we've got any modern hero, it would have to be our champion Leon. Listen up, Ruby. Your goal is to defeat that superstar Leon, so go conquer Route 6 and train yourself up along the way to Stow on Side. Stow on Side? I can't pronounce things. If you want your chance to battle the Great Raihan for yourself, collect those gym badges. You'll need 7 of them, and the next is waiting for you in Stow on Side, down Route 6. Alright, alright. I'll go on Route 6. Is this Route 6? I think this is Route 6. Oh, it is. Wait, let me check the map. Because I wanna... Since I'm gonna be walking around... Yeah, I'm on Route 6, so next is Stow on Side. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the Poke Center. And I'm gonna send a few of my Pokemon on Poke Jobs to train them up. And meanwhile, I'm gonna be using the others to gain levels as I catch new Pokemon, as we battle trainers and such. So let's quickly go on the Poke job thingy. Okay, so they need cooking assistants. Must be good with fire. I got the hint. They want fire types. So we have 6 fire types. We have Jungkook, we have Carmeet, we have Fergie, we have Vulpix, we have Litwick, and we have Xtina. Let's go. Send Pokemon for a whole day. There you go. The longer you stay there, the more experience you come back with. There you go. Next is poison type Pokemon to help prepare prescriptions. Alright. I don't know if I have 6 poison types. We'll see. I think I only have 3. I may have a couple of crossovers, like something and poison. But I'm gonna have to check. Let me check if there's any. Okay, grass and poison. We can send Gloom. Who else is there? Oh, there you go, Rosalia. Who else? Who else is poisonous? Badoo! Where is Badoo? Where is it? Oh my god. Is this Badoo? I think it is. Yeah, it is. Okay. I nicknamed a lot of my Pokemon, so I'm like, who's who? A whole day. Stay there for a day. It's fine. It's sleepover. It's a sleepover. It's fine. Have fun. Me tricking my Pokemon into working labor jobs. I'm like, it's sleepover, but for Pokemon, and it's gonna be fun. You're gonna do fun activities. Grass types to make deliveries in grassy areas. Got you. I can do that as well, honey. You're a grass type. You're a grass type. All of these are. Good thing I organized everything at the beginning, huh? Easy, breezy, beautiful. What do you guys have in mind for today? What are you guys gonna be up to? Surprise is the spice of life. We'd like to get Pokemon that can bring people's orders with a little dash of horror. Okay, I think this is ghosts. You're going to clean. Sounds so fun. We love cleaning. Cleaning is so much fun. It's the best activity. It's so necessary, but it's so annoying. Ugh. I do not like cleaning. It's one of those things where I would rather not. But you gotta. You love cleaning, but you also hate it. I getcha. I getcha. It's annoying. Like, I love the feeling afterwards. I love that feeling of like, oh, everything is clean. I feel accomplished. But it takes a lot of work to get to that place. It takes a lot, especially if you procrastinate it and you clean, like, you know, a couple of days overdue, if you know what I mean. Then it becomes even bigger of a hassle. Because then everything is more organized and there's been a few more days of drama that you have to clean. These people want ground types. Perfect. All of these are ground. Put your moldy bowls out of your office and into the dishwasher. No, I don't let things get to that point. I don't let things get to that point. It's just like sometimes you're like, you know what? I'll clean tomorrow. And then you're like, oh, I'll clean tomorrow. And then, you know, the dust accumulated more dust than you probably would want in your room or in your living room, whatever. You're disgusting. Aw. With dishes, I do them every day. We don't have a dishwasher, so I have to do them manually. And you don't want to accumulate too much because obviously you need a plate to eat off of eventually. So I do dishes every day, and I don't mind it, actually. I usually do them before the stream. Like, fun fact, like, I will play music. I will prepare, like, not a playlist. I put things on shuffle, and then I go on the up next, and I eliminate things from that queue that I don't care about. So I kind of make a playlist on the spot, and I just let that play. I take my time, I organize my thoughts, and then I prepare to do the stream. Fun fact, usually dishes are the last thing that I do, and then I work on my stream. Pretty last minute sometimes. Sometimes I let things slide for a little bit longer, and then it's like, oh shit, it's time to stream, and I don't have anything prepared. It happens, it happens. It's funny because I used to just go into my streams like with zero preparation. Like literally, like I would just turn on the stream and that was it. Like, well, I would always, I feel like, change my title. I used to have to always fix my webcam settings like every day. But now they have like the Logitech hub thing that you just click on a thing. You just open the program and you click on a thing and then it automatically changes your settings. But that used to not be a thing. So I would have to manually like color correct every single day before my streams. But you know, after a couple of times of getting bit in the ass by your own lack of preparation, you start being like, okay, let me test the game beforehand. Let me let me do this, let me do that, so that I don't, you know, I don't look more unprofessional than I am. What's your favorite new Pokemon so far if you haven't seen them all? It's funny because to me, a lot of these are new, even though they've been in previous generations. Because I haven't played since the 3rd generation, which was Pokemon Emerald. So a lot of these I'm like, ooh, that's cute. And then people are like, well, that was from like 3 generations ago. What my favorite is, without wanting to sound too much like a cliche, I love the Galarian Ponyta, like the pink Ponyta. With like the blue flamey hair. I love that. I haven't gotten one yet, but I got this version of the game for that purpose. I love the starters. They're all adorable. I love Sobble's final evolution. It's like very like sassy looking. It's very like fabulous looking, you know? She's like one of us kind of thing. But yeah, there's that. I don't really think too much about. I don't know. I liked Wooloo. I think it's really cute. It's like a fluffy ball. But other than that, I don't think too much about that stuff. And especially I'm still new to the game. So I'm sure there's gonna be other Pokemon that I'll fall in love with eventually. Ooh. That was not a great burp. But it happened, you know, it existed in my lifetime. So after the stream, I will be uploading yesterday's breakfast at Ruby's with Chalora. Oh, I forgot yesterday to have the timer with your name on it. God damn it. Let me give you a shout out. I always forget. It was a good episode. I was listening back to it today, and it was a good episode. I think we did our best to not sound too biased and to try to say things not necessarily from our perspective, but how we think things will be handled and how things will be talked about and perceived and stuff like that. So I think we did, and I did go on your stream and I did see that some people were pleased with it, and people were saying like, oh, I was lurking and the two of you were really like having a really nice discussion. You guys weren't really like biased. You guys were trying to like, god damn it, I keep saying guys. You two were trying to be informative, and you were trying to speak from a place where you're talking about the information that you have rather than a place of like emotional, and you know, even I said guys yesterday and I beat myself up for it. I just realized, I was like, damn it, no. Oh, I was like, who are you? What a cute silly cobra. Just look at those adorable eyes. Is that a combination between a puppy and a snake? It's our duty as Team Yell to make sure Silly Cobra has a nice peaceful sleep. Oh.
Hello there. If I promise not to wake the Pokemon, will you let me through?
Of course, it would be our pleasure. Oh, well then.
Oh, hey Ruby, you're heading to Stow on Side, right? Oi, Team Yell, don't suppose you'll let us through?
Nah, you kids are way too loud, can't be letting you through. And we're particularly not fond of kids wearing the challenge band. With all your stomping around, Silly Cobra is sure to wake up. Right.
What do you say, Ruby? If we don't get past them, we won't be able to continue our gym challenge at Stow on Side.
I guess we only have one solution here.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
You two are way too noisy. You don't want to wake up Silly Cobra, do you? I swear, kids these days. Well, we've got no choice. We have to send you packing. It's all for the sake of Silly Cobra. I've pronounced Silly Cobra's name like 4 different ways. I've noticed I pronounced the name of that Pokemon in like 5 different ways. You love Silly Cobra. It's so cute. I also like in this game that Team Yell isn't necessarily evil. I know, right? They're just silly. It's funny, actually. Oh, I thought this was gonna be a double battle. Oh, okay. The battle music is quite fierce for this one. It's no gym battle music, but it's still kind of fierce. It's hard though sometimes, like adapt, like with language. It's hard, like when you get used to saying certain things, it's hard to adapt. But at least, as we've said yesterday, there needs to be a willingness to adapt. And honestly, at this point, I just muted everyone involved in my conversations. Not in my conversation, but the topics of conversation, I guess, were all muted, and I'm not gonna torture myself by checking on people. And because I say torture not because I get like hurt by what people are saying, but because it's like you just get frustrated because you don't see any development happening. So you're just kind of like, you know what, I'm just gonna let them be. I'm just gonna let them exist, and if they want to be ignorant, they'll be ignorant. If they want to be a certain way, they will be a certain way, and it is what it is kind of thing, you know what I mean? It would be interesting to see visible disability characters with disabilities, NPCs, kind of like what Mattel did. Yeah, characters in games. I think that would be really nice to see. I like that Pokemon is starting to have characters with different skin tones, characters that don't look the same, right? But I do think that they for the next game they could work on being more even more inclusive. Could you imagine a Pokemon that helps blind people or deaf people? Aww, yes, a wheelchair Pokemon. Can we please? Oh, that would be cute. That would be really nice. Little teachable moments, because Pokemon is kind of like a family game. It's usually baby's first RPG game. So I think that would be really nice. And I do think a big concern from this game that I have is, well, not a concern, but a piece of feedback that I want them to take into the next game is the makeup and hair choices. I want those to be gender neutral for the next game, and for you to be able to wear whatever you want and have whatever hair you want, and for any character to be able to put on makeup. You know what I mean? Blimey, even your battles are too noisy. Well, it's what you deserve. I think I'll leave this to you, Ruby. Keep up the pace. Aww, he's not fighting alongside me. I think he's discouraged because he lost that battle against Bayday. Aww, I feel bad for him. Baby Hop. Aww. I remember I used to be so annoyed by him, but now I'm like, aww. Don't be mean to him. You always end up playing female characters because you want to be pretty. Yeah. I wish I could play as like a male-bodied character that could... You know, if one day I wanted long hair, I could go to the hair salon and have long hair. And then if I wanted short hair, I could, you know, I could go back and forth between the two styles and the two gendered options, I guess. If you want to say it that way. Ooh, dig. It's been revealed that Nicki Minaj is going to be the first special guest on RuPaul's Drag Race season 12? I can't keep track anymore. Yeah, it's season 12. Is Nikki an ally? Apparently she is. I've been kind of off put by her because she defended her. It's tough because it's her brother, But it's also like he was just convicted or is about to get convicted for like child abuse, for like specifically, I think from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was having like sex with like, I don't know if it was like his stepdaughter or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw that on Wendy the other day. And I was like, oh. And she defended him, like Nikki defended him. And it's tough because it's her brother. Like, what is she supposed to do? Well, I know what she's supposed to do. She's not supposed to defend him. But I feel like emotionally that's kind of a mind fuck though. You know what I mean? Like, how do you process that information? Because in your head and in your heart, that's like family. But then it's like they've done something fucked up. Like how, like what do you do kind of thing? I don't know. Obviously it's easy for me to speak from an outside perspective because I'm not in that family environment and I'm not in that conversation. But yeah, all this celebrity drama I never pay attention to. Yeah, no, to me I just one thing that I've been trying to do is be more aware of who I'm supporting. And we've had this discussion on Breakfast at Ruby's because who we follow and who we like, who we subscribe to, all of that stuff. You don't want to put money into the wrong pockets, you know what I mean? And it's just something that I've become a little bit more aware, especially I feel like as I watched like the Wendy Williams show, or as I follow like pop culture driven Twitter accounts, I get more, I don't get involved in the drama, but I get brought attention to those like topics and things like that. Why is Stunky named Justin Bieber? Is he stinky? Well, he's that stinky animal, like the skunk or whatever. So I was like, Justin Bieber, perfect. Why did you have to be such a bother? Silly Cobra might wake up after all that ruckus. Then there's no point in us sticking around. Let's get out of here. We'll make these bothersome kids holler some other day. Silly. Ruby, you and Ninjask were brilliant together. See, Bede really wiped the floor with me the last time we battled. And don't get me wrong, I can take a loss. Battling means you've got to lose sometimes. But he said I was dragging Lee's good name through the mud, being so rubbish. Like, so I just can't get those words out of my head. Oh. If I'm weak, then people will think Lee's weak too. But I don't want that. I can't let Lee get dragged down. He's the unbeatable champion. I'm gonna have to take some time figuring this out. See you around, Ruby. Oh. And we couldn't say anything? Silly Cobra was like, you kids. You kids woke me up with your drama. You're one of the gym challengers endorsed by Leon, aren't you? Oh, hello there. Yes. My name is Opal. If you want to know more, have a look at my Lee card. Hello. Screams, I don't want to wake up, Silly Cobra. You put the Lee card in your album. I'll keep an eye on you, kid. I want to see what you can do when you go all out. Oh. Is this a grinder interaction? Honestly, guys, This is really bad. Like, when I am on Grindr, unless I'm the one initiating conversation, usually people who talk to me are people with no profile picture, people who want fun, or people who are like significantly older than me. And when I say significantly older, it's like older than my parents. Or the same age as my parents, and they're in their 50s. But Opal looks rather fabulous. Snake out here, like, is Team Yell gone? Yeah, the snake, Silly Cobra was just waiting for Team Yell to be done yelling. I love that for them. I have so many berries. Okay, I'm putting everything down to 2. That's what I do. I like to normalize the amount of things that I have. Okay, now I'm starting to put everything down to 1. I need more berries. I've been slacking. She's been slacking. This Pokemon camp is cute, but I haven't been really taking the time to like pet them, to like throw the toys at them. I haven't really been taking the time for that. What will you be up to, Sly, today? Oh shit. Kablam. So, as I was saying, after the stream, I'm gonna be uploading yesterday's Breakfast at Ruby's, and then I don't know. I'll probably just watch other streamers while everything is uploading, while I'm working on the thumbnail, while I do all of that. I'll probably take out a couple clips from the episode to like post on social media during the weekend, or I might even like look around my streams this week and maybe take a couple clips out of them here and there, because I work on my weekends. Usually I'll be gone for like a whole day. I work from like 2 p.m. until like 11 p.m. So usually if you don't notice from that time frame, it's usually not a good time frame to be like making plans or doing things. Like sometimes I'll be doing things in the morning or whatever, but a lot of the times I end up staying in bed for as long as humanly possible. But I've been good. I've been getting out of bed around 10 to 10:30. And to me, that's a personal victory. My super cute Pokemon is interested in your Pokemon. Oh no. Beauty Anita. Bed is my safe space. It is. It is. It's like my phone isn't there. I don't have any sort of interaction with the outside world. It's comfy. It's comfortable. It's warm. There's nothing wrong with it. You just feel at ease. Honestly, I hate getting up in the morning is such a struggle for me. Like, my alarm, and I need to fix it. My alarm is currently like a Spotify like shuffle of my music. But I need to fix that so it's like an annoying alarm. So I need to force myself out of bed. Because like sometimes a song will play and my phone will be vibrating. Which is annoying. I hate the sound of like the phone like brr, brr, brr. I hate that. But I've grown accustomed to it. So I no longer have it as like, oh, I'll listen just to the music. I'll tune out the vibrating. And then, oh, I just spit somewhere. But, you know, I need to put like an annoying alarm so it forces me out of bed. But I hate getting forced out of bed. It's the worst. But I have to. Like, that's my thing. Like, if I allow myself, guys, and you guys are probably like, Ruby is so fucking dramatic. No. No. Yeah, I mean, yes, I'm dramatic for certain things, but no. I have stayed in bed for like over 10 hours. I've gone to bed at like maybe 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and gotten out of it at like, at the latest, like 3 p.m. like 2 p.m. So that's when I was like, we have a problem. And I started forcing myself to get out of bed at like 10:30. And then I reduced it to 10. But I'm having a hard time because now I'm like listening to the music while I'm in bed. I can't fall asleep because of the constant like vroom, vroom, vroom. But at least I'm in bed. But I want an alarm so annoying that I will have to be like, oh no, like I'm so comfortable, but that alarm needs to go. You made your alarm that Cantina song from Star Wars. I don't know what that is. I know nothing about Star Wars. I know the I'm your father, but I don't know anything else. Because that was the ringtone for when my boss in my store called. Oh shit. So it always woke me up because they'd only call if I missed an opening shift and you slept through it. Oh no, so you have like that trauma associated with it. You're like, oh no, I'm late. And then it's like, oh no, I'm not. I'm in bed. It's fine. It's okay. Oh my god, Ruby! I know. I've never seen, for any nerds out there, collect your pearls, because I've never seen Lord of the Rings, I've never seen Star Wars, I've never seen, what's the other? Star Trek, I've never seen, what's the other? I've never seen The Hobbit, I've never seen, everybody just unfollows. Hi, Balloon. I have my alarm on the other side of the room, so I have to get out of bed to shut it off. I've tried that, Balloon, but I always forget to charge my phone properly, so I usually have it charged overnight. And unfortunately, all of the plugs next to my desk are filled. So I can't have my phone, like, charging at my desk, so I have to, like, get out of bed. I still have to get out of bed to turn off my alarm, but it's not, like, super far away from bed. But the thing is, like, my alarm isn't annoying. So I have to put on, like, a super annoying alarm so that I turn it off. I thought it was cute to have, like, music, so I wake up to, like, my favorite jams. But I end up staying in bed to, listening to the music. But I have placed it in a place where I have to physically get up. And even that, I'm like, oh, my alarm started playing at like 10. And I only turned it off at like 10:30. It's bad. It's bad. But I don't think, honestly, waking up at 10:30 is not the worst problem in my life. It's not the worst problem in my life. You know what I mean? But how are you doing, Balloon? How are you doing? Hope you're enjoying the conversation. I love that I'm playing Pokemon, but I'm talking like about alarms, waking up. I'm breaking everybody's hearts by saying I've never seen Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. I've seen Harry Potter. I saw all the movies, but it's not like I'm proud of it anymore because J.K. Rowling is a turf. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, I guess. Oh, this move is very dangerous. Okay, everything is fine. Ooh, excuse me. By the way, who's going to TwitchCon? I forgot the word. Who's going to TwitchCon Amsterdam? The only word that came into my head was like convention. Who's going to the convention? I'm like, what convention? I don't remember. You would go if Twitch paid you enough to go. Yeah. Would you, Clefable, Vegan Lee? Clefable? I must have missed a reference there. Are you talking shit about someone? Clefable is cute. You would go if Twitch paid you. Yeah. I getcha. I have this personal theory that Twitch felt bad for me and paid me my and paid me in January, even though I was close to the 100 threshold, but I didn't quite, like, it was like 98 or something. But I have a theory that it's because it's like everything pending from last year, they kind of just gave it to me. You know what I mean? Because it's like, and this is not something that I'm like, I care about necessarily, because I do have my part-time. But it's, let's just say I don't always reach the threshold monthly. So I have a personal theory that Twitch was like, let's just give that to him, because clearly this is like from last year and it's close enough. And yeah, unless I did the math wrong, but I don't think so. Yeah. And to be fair, I don't really have like any visible goals on screen. Like, I don't have like a sub goal. I don't have you know, I don't have like one of those like donation goals to go to like TwitchCon or to go or to buy this or to buy that. So I a lot of the times I don't feel like people have an incentive to want to subscribe to me or to give me bits or to donate or whatever, because like, you know what I mean? It's just like I'm hanging out, I'm talking about things. I'm not necessarily doing anything unique either. So, you know, it's one of those things where I get it. Like, and it's not something that I'm ever like jealous or, despite what some people might think, it's not something that I'm like jealous when I see someone succeeding. It's never jealousy at all. It's never like, oh, that person is succeeding, I must get what they have. Like, no, because everybody earns things differently, and if you see value in someone, like, that's subjective. You know what I mean? Like, I see value in what I do, but I don't think that guarantees, or that it's not guarantee the word that I want. I don't think that, what's the word? I don't think that calls for people to like put money into my pocket. You know what I mean? And it doesn't make me feel, I agree with you, Chalora, it doesn't make me feel any more or less successful. Like, the numbers don't make me feel successful. To me, success when I stream is when I have good conversations with people. So sometimes I don't feel successful if, you know, maybe I felt like I wasn't good at like preparing good topics of conversation, or because I didn't say, you know what I mean? Like, because I didn't engage with my community properly, or because I felt like I could have done more in order to have a more active banter between people in chat and stuff like that, that's when I don't feel successful. To me, success isn't necessarily like the viewers that I have, like how many, because that's also subjective. You could have like 100 or 1,000 viewers and, you know, like that bunny girl, you know, like she was like complaining she didn't have a lot of subs in comparison to how many viewers she had, you know what I mean? So like it's not, you know, retweets don't mean that people don't care about your content. Someone not commenting in your chat doesn't mean that they don't care or they're not watching. Oh, hi. All of those things are pretty subjective, you know? And they're never a guaranteed sign of success or a sign of this or that. And even like, you know, even the people that are, in our eyes, maybe in my eyes or in the eyes of many people that are succeeding, even they have their struggles. Sometimes they may feel like they're, you know, they're not earning enough money. They may feel like they're not, their chat isn't as active as it should in their mind. Or I feel like everybody has their own struggles. So it's really unfair for us to compare each other and for us to think, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I had to learn that myself, you know? Like, I used to be like, oh, that person has like a certain amount of viewers. Like, what am I doing wrong to not get those viewers, you know? And it's taking me not a lot, but throughout the last couple of years, my focus has been on being proud of my content. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I like that the segment that I added, and I like that we had a good conversation. I like the guests that I had on my show. Stuff like that I can control. That's what I look at. I don't necessarily look at like, oh, why am I doing badly or whatever. Like, to me nowadays is more like, okay, let me try this schedule for a month. Let me try this format for a month, and then I'll adapt along the way whenever I see like, okay, I think that worked, or I think that didn't, or this or that. So, and that, even that is relative, because like one day, like 1 week, I could do the exact same thing, like on social media, on my stream, this or that, and it could work perfectly. And then the next week I can have the exact same quote-unquote formula, and it may not work, you know? You only feel successful at the end of a stream day when I can get my eye makeup symmetrical. I always tell people, like, if they want to lurk, great. If they want to sub, cool. But like, I don't want anyone to feel like they have to be there. And if they don't come, that's my fault for not being entertaining enough. I don't think that's your fault for not being entertaining enough. I know where you're coming from. Like people... I agree with you. I don't like, I used to be like that. I used to be like, oh, you say that you like me, then why aren't you watching me? Like, I used to think that a little bit. I used to be like, oh, people only watch me when I play this or when I do that or whatever. But I think it's also a part of growing up that you're like, that you've become more aware that it's like everybody will do whatever they want with their time, and it's almost in that way like, well, maybe if they're not watching you, maybe step it up a little bit, or maybe try something different, try a different approach, try to promote things differently on social media, you know? But it's a combination of things that you kind of have to adjust in your brain, because sometimes I have that, even nowadays, I have that mentality of like, if a stream has a certain number associated with it, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I was boring. Like, not necessarily, you know, like maybe people were busy. Maybe there was an exciting event going on and everybody was looking at that. Maybe there's a more popular streamer doing the same game as me, so everybody that loves that game is watching that person instead. Like, it's, you know, it doesn't, really matter at the end of the day. And to me, it's more about keeping up the joy in streaming, because when you, and having goals that are things that you can control. Like I used to set up goals like, oh, next year is going to be the year I become a partner. Next year is going to be the year I do it full time. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to reach that amount of subs. I want to reach that amount of whatever. But now my goals are like, okay, I want to buy a microphone. I want to get this. I want to get that. I want to change this. I want to change that. I want to start doing this. I want to stop doing that. Things that I can control about my content, about my approach, and about my everything, about my social media, about my everything that I do online. Those have been the goals that I have, you know, and I think it's healthy to have goals that you can control, because sometimes people, when they see that you have a goal of having a certain amount of followers, they will follow you because they want to contribute to that goal. Silly Cobra. And sometimes they're not even that invested in you or your content. They just want to like help out, because people, you know, I do believe that people, for the most part, are inherently good. So I do feel like when, you know, when people see a goal, they're like, oh, I want to help them. But sometimes you notice that like, oh, that person just followed because they wanted to be a part of, like, you know, oh, everybody is following, or that person is following, or he has a goal, so let me help him out. But then like they're not necessarily like invested in you because they don't necessarily care about you, you know? They just wanted to help you out a little bit. And I don't want people to feel obligated to help me out. I don't want people to feel obligated to always be here and to always like host and to always like be in chat and to do this and to do that. So I agree with you. Nowadays I don't set goals based on numbers for my streams. I mean, I pay attention to them. Yeah, of course. But I feel like there are ups and downs for numbers, and in a lot of ways it's out of my control. I also don't like thinking of people as numbers. I'd rather make real connections. Exactly. I used to be sometimes upset because I was like, ugh, my viewer average sucked today. And then I would have to catch myself and be like, but you had amazing conversations with people. Like, you had people tell you that, you know, you made them smile, you made their day better, and you had really important discussions that, you know, maybe it would be cool if more people listened to it, because I feel like sometimes we say things that are, we feel like should be heard by more people, but, you know, like, I feel like everything has a time and a place. And I'm on my own path, I'm on my own way, you know, and my own journey. And it doesn't matter that the people around me have a certain amount of viewers or a certain amount of followers, a certain amount of this, a certain amount of that. Because, like, my time will come eventually. I mean, maybe there's gonna be a new platform that's gonna be different from YouTube and Twitch. That's gonna be my thing, and it's gonna be the thing that I will thrive at. It's gonna be perfect for me. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Like, maybe and comparing yourself with someone else is always tragic. Like, you don't do that. Like, you shouldn't do that, because it's unfair. Like, you know what I mean? It's unfair for you to compare yourself to your peers. I mean, when my stats come back and my average viewers are low, I feel sad, especially if I made a good joke or did a bit or something, but I can always go back and clip it if I care enough. Exactly. And I got a silly cobra. No, I agree with you, Chalora. I agree with you on that. Like, sometimes you're like, that was such a good episode of, like, Breakfast at Ruby's, or that was such a good, like, I thought I was pretty entertaining, or whatever. But that's true. Like, if you care enough, you'll be like, you know what? People didn't see it on Twitch. Let me show them on Twitter, and people will see it on Twitter, you know? I do have to give people props. Some people are like masters at like promoting. They know the right time, the right place, the They know the right place, the right time, the right verbiage, the right pictures, the right this, the right that. Like they are like so, they're like one with the system. You know what I mean? And they know how to like play it, and they know how to like perfect it. You feel bad when you catch Pokemon and you don't know that you didn't know could Gigantimax. And then I see it and I'm like, rip. They say lunchtime is best time to post on Instagram. I don't know if that's true anymore. I honestly couldn't tell you. With Instagram, I've never been super active on it. Because I feel like I'm never doing anything interesting. You know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna take like a screenshot of like the video game I'm playing? Or like, am I gonna take a selfie in my robe because I just woke up and I'm not doing anything interesting? You know what I mean? Instagram is impossible. I've heard it's super difficult to like grow and stuff. And the algorithm, I've heard it is like really tricky as well. But even with those platforms, I'm starting to detach myself. No, that's not what I mean. I'm starting to detach the value of my post from the numbers that the post gets, if that makes sense. Because sometimes when you're proud of something, your first instinct is to be like, oh, who liked it? You know, how many people liked it? How many people retweeted it? And it's something really like not interesting. Something really recent about my approach is that I look at the numbers. Everybody does. Oh, baby. Baby's evolving. But sometimes I take myself out of the equation and I'm like, okay, are you proud of that tweet? Are you proud of that thread? Are you proud of that whatever? Are you proud of that stream? Are you proud of that YouTube video? If the answer is yes, then like, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Or at least you can be like, okay, I'm proud of the way that I did that, but maybe I'll do it in a different time slot next time, you know? Like, I feel like there's technical things that you can learn. Or like, maybe I'll edit the picture differently next time. Maybe I'll make it a different color. Or maybe I'll change the font so it pops more. Like, you know what I mean? Just like slight things like that, I feel like you can learn from. Maybe you're too casual with your medias because you don't use them like a professional. Yeah. I don't either. I don't either. Like I don't know, I feel like I portray myself in a professional manner. But I don't really look at like my social media as like I'm a social media manager. Like I'm not really looking, I'm not really looking at the best strats. I'm not looking at the best times to tweet. I'm not looking for the best times to do this or to do that. Which I feel like at the end of the day are a detriment, right? But the other thing is like I almost don't want to follow like a formula. Does that make sense? Like I want to tweet, and I know that sounds like, okay, then just do it, you know? Like I want to tweet when I want to tweet. But then again, it's like if you want to do that, you can't complain that you're not getting a certain amount of this or a certain amount of that because, you know, you want to do it in your own way or you do it in the way that works. You know? So I think it's about finding a balance between a time frame that may work for you or a verbiage that may work for you but also works for the platform or for the algorithm or this or that, you know? Oh, I love a double battle. And I did that with Breakfast at Ruby's like the week before. I tried to break down every topic into a separate video. And I noticed that some videos were getting more views than others, and I was like, okay, but if I have the more clickable titles, the more clickable things in the title, I can have the full episode up, and it's like I will sneak in the topics that maybe people don't care much about in there, you know, because they're gonna be in there, but it's gonna be under the same video, so everybody's gonna click on the same, you know. It's just kind of like that strategy mindset. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do this in this way instead and see how that works. And I'm no, you know, I'm no social media manager, so I still have a lot to learn. Do you think there's and I know people don't like to say this, but do you think there's a percentage of luck involved in social media, or do you think there's like numbers and there's like what I'm trying to say is, like, do you think there's a percentage of like, okay, that person got lucky because their tweet got viral or that tweet took off or whatever, or do you think everything can be planned and everything can be, if you do it properly, there's a way for that to happen just normally and you having control over it? You know what I mean? I do think that, I don't want to give luck too much credit, but I do think that there's a percentage of it that you're kind of just like, well, I think this is gonna work, but I hope it does, and it's just kind of like, it kind of works. Even though there was maybe strategy to it, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna post this tweet in the morning because I know in my morning time, people in this time zone aren't gonna be awake for it. So you may try a different time zone, or you may try a different whatever. Oh, excuse me. But I do think that, I don't think luck is all, the end all be all. I feel like a lot of people just up and quit. They're like, ugh, what's the point? Like, you know, you have to get lucky to make it or whatever. So I don't think that's all there is to it. I don't think luck is the only factor. But I do think that a good combo of the two can't hurt. Surely it can't hurt. But I do know that there's people who work really hard at like perfecting the perfect time to post their tweets at, the best, you know, the best, not hooking, the best, like, oh, not hooking, but, you know, the best, like, eye-catching titles, or the best, descriptions, you know, things that will catch your eye and things that will make you pay attention. I feel like I'm not fully wrong in saying hooking. When I say hooking, I say like something that grabs, like a hook, like snatches you. But I know that has a different meaning. But I do have the understanding that I could be better at them. I think I could be more strategic about my social media presence. A part of me is also like, my lazy ass doesn't want to do the research. Or is like, oh, that's so much work. Like, oh, that's not gonna work. What's the point? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, oh, that's just so much work to figure out the right time. I just want to tweet it right now. You know what I mean? Oh, it's the worst. But anyway, oh. But I mean, clearly, my shit gets seen regardless, so. Just saying. When someone doesn't follow me, and somehow they become aware of something that I said or I tweeted, I feel like I'm doing my job, you know? And for as like how some people like to say like, oh, nobody reads your tweets or nobody watches your videos or nobody whatever. For someone who has that kind of reputation on them, you know, you're talking. You know what I mean? Like, not wanting to be petty, but, you know. I just get so concerned when I see injured Pokemon. What is real strength? I'm very curious. And I don't do things to, like, get people, like, mad. And I don't do things to get people talking, but I'm just saying, like, you know. Everybody underestimates their reach for sure. Like when you're streaming, you're like, nobody's watching. Like, no, people are watching, and sometimes the right people watching are the important people watching, you know? It's all about quality over quantity. I wish I could tell you guys that I have fun plans for the weekend though, but no, she's gonna be working. She's gonna be working. Honestly, last week was so good, like not having to think about work. Like the only concerns of mine were like, okay, be a little bit more productive today than you were last night, than you were yesterday, or try this, try that, whatever. And it was so pleasant to just be and to just exist and to like my only focus or my only concern in my brain was like my passions, the things that I love doing, you know what I mean? It was like, okay, let me book people for the show, let me do this, let me do that, let me work on a thumbnail, let me work on this, let me work on that. And like even having that freedom of like, okay, Friday night I'm gonna do this, or Saturday I'm gonna do that, or someone is coming over, or this or that. It's so different than having like 3 days of my week streaming, 3 days of me working, and then 1 day off, you know what I mean? Which is usually like a Monday. So it's like, who is gonna go on a date with me on a Monday, and who's gonna like make plans with me on a Monday? You know, that kind of thing. I love the little spoon. Like I didn't know for the longest time. I was like, why does it sometimes like show like a huge pile of food? Oh yes. And sometimes it shows like a little spoon, and then it came to my attention. I saw on Twitter that people, you know, I became aware of it, that that's like the amount that Pokemon eats. So if it's like a bug Pokemon, it's gonna eat just like a little spoon, you know. And I was like, oh, that's cute, you know, because not every Pokemon is gonna eat like a huge pile of food. That makes sense. Like thinking about it makes perfect sense. But I was like, why is the pile not the same? Like that's weird. Like why is that not a thing? Alright. Oh, this area is very convoluted. There's like a staircase towards that way. I saw a different path that way. I'm trying to like both avoid the wild Pokemon, but also like not avoid them completely. I love this though, like about this version of Pokemon. Like the branching paths, like sure they all may lead to the same place, I get it, but I like it, it's cute. And I don't think I have anywhere else to go from here actually. Okay, I think that's a water and rock type, I think. I think. So let me avoid. Okay, let's be super effective up in here. I did that, and nobody can stop me. I love that the move is like throwing a tantrum that causes a tiny little... He got me, girls. He really did. Damn. She got me there, gals. She really came for my wig there. It's always so derpy when like they dig. It's so funny to me. Ooh. Anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say. I was like, what? I should talk about next week. You're in a game? What are you playing, Shalora? Are you playing Overwatch? No, I was gonna say something. But I don't remember, so I'm just gonna talk about next week. So next week is, I should have checked my... I was gonna say school schedule. I should have checked my work schedule. Let me do that right now. See, because I know there's gonna be a week where I'm gonna... I think I'm supposed to work in like a weekday. I don't think it's next week though, so I should be fine. I should be fine. I think the next week's schedule should be normal, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh no, just kidding. Yeah, next week I'm working on fuck, I'm working Wednesday. I forgot. Why did I schedule a special guest for Wednesday when I'm working the whole fucking day? Ruby. God damn it. So I'm gonna be streaming on Tuesday and Thursday. I don't know if I'll add like Friday to make up for it, but I'll have to DM D. Because D-Nug is supposed to be our guest next week, but I forgot that I have work on Wednesday. Excuse. You're playing League of Legends? Wow. Excuse me. I used to play League of Legends at some point. Probably for a month, but still. My girl was the little girl that had the teddy bear. She was the fiery queen. She was Annie? Question mark. I think. And I used to listen to like a couple of episodes of like a podcast. And yeah. Annie, she got a visual update. Ooh. I haven't touched League of Legends in years. I'm not even like exaggerating. Like to give you some context, I used to listen to the Shane Dawson podcast while I would play that game. So that was a long time ago. I feel like my computer was new too. It might have been actually like 2016. Because I know for a fact, I actually don't know for a fact, but I don't think my old laptop could run League of Legends. So there's that. I don't think so. I don't think I could. It's funny because I never streamed League of Legends. Like, I had it. I don't know if I was making gaming surely I was. Surely I was making gaming videos, but I don't... Actually, I may have recorded a YouTube video or two playing League of Legends. I think I recorded my very first match. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I think I did. I actually think I did. League of Legends is the best game to stream in your opinion. Because it takes a lot of your attention, right? Like you can't really look at chat. You can't really like think about a conversation to have. Like you have to be focused on the game. I would assume that's why. And also because it's like every match is so long. And then like you only talk in the queue times, I guess, but I mean some people are here only for gameplay, you know? Like that's some people's gig. Like some people love to watch gameplay and they don't really care if you are a Taurus, if you woke up in the morning on after 3 snoozes, or you know what I mean? Like some people genuinely don't care about that stuff. But yeah, sometimes there are games where I'm like, oh, I love this game, or like I have fun playing this game, but I don't think I can stream it because like it takes so much of my energy to play the game that I can't like focus on chat, or like I notice myself making things too much about the game to the point where like I'm not really thinking of like a topic, or I'm not like talking about a thing. And it happens, you know, when you're playing a game. It happens. You just know it's a controversial game because a lot of people think the community is very toxic, but you think there are much worse communities these days. I think that, like, to a certain degree, if you play online, the community is not going to be the best. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't stop people from playing Dead by Daylight. That doesn't stop people from playing Overwatch. That doesn't stop people from playing Minecraft. Like, I feel like everywhere where there's an element of multiplayer, there's always gonna be shitty interactions and toxic people. I feel like that's probably an easy excuse because it has the reputation, so people are like, oh, the game is so toxic, like I can't get into it. It's like, no. Like, no, that's not, I don't think that's how that works. You know. Actually, now that you're saying that, I don't really see like people in like my circle or people like I follow. I don't really see them play League of Legends. I came from far away to watch the gym challenge. I'd love the opportunity to battle a gym challenger. Aww. I love that I have been like on and off reading stuff, and now I'm like, let me read this, what this girl has to say. You know what? Backpacker Diane has something to say, and I'm gonna say it. You play it off stream because you like the characters and the lore. Yeah. You know, a game that was like that, Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, that's the number, yes. I had a free trial. I actually was very blessed to be sponsored by them. I went on this streamer website called noise.gg, noise with a G. No, nope. Noise with a Z. Like Noiz. I don't remember if it's 2 Z's. I think not. And then they usually have like sponsorship opportunities, and they usually range from different like viewership averages. And I remember I was qualified to stream. They had a Final Fantasy 14. It was last year. I think this was May or June, because I think like in July or August they had an update, or they had like a new expansion coming. Correct me if I'm wrong. The timeline is probably not 100% there. But I remember they were kind of raising awareness that they had like a free trial, and they had a free like for people who were returning players like me. I had on and off subscriptions for Final Fantasy 14 because I just never end up investing a lot of time into it, and I'm like, oh, this is like a bill in the background that's getting like that money is going into that I'm not like utilizing a lot. But anyway, they had a welcome back event for like returning players. They could play up to like a certain amount of days or a certain amount of hours, like a free login kind of thing. And they had a free trial that they were promoting. And then if you promoted that on stream, you had a special link, and they would evaluate how many people clicked on it and whatever. And I think based on your average, they would pay you a certain amount. And regardless, it was an amazing experience, and I loved being able to say that I was sponsored by Square Enix. Like, hello? Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy 8 and 10 were like my life growing up. So to me, I was like, oh, I'm able to say that I'm sponsored by them. But the game itself, I noticed that it wasn't that it required a lot of attention out of me, but I noticed that there were like some parts where it did, and there were certain parts where the conversation was very game heavy, and I felt like the community wasn't really like that into it. And then I ended up playing it a lot off camera. All of that to say that I ended up playing a lot of it off camera. Because I was like, you know what? I think people are connecting more. Like, people aren't connecting that much with it and whatever. And sometimes that's in your head. And I notice sometimes, like, if chat quiets down, I don't think I'm too much like that anymore, but I had times where muy dramatico, fantastico, where if chat slows down, I'm like, oh, nobody cares. People aren't interested. They don't want to watch this, you know? And that's not always true. And that's kind of a phenomenon that happens with when people do just chatting. When you switch to a game, there's a percentage of people that aren't really there for that. They don't really care. You know what I mean? About you playing games. And it's something that I had to just accept because and someone told me this, like a viewer told me this. They were like it's just like a subconscious thing. Like, if we see that your webcam is full screen, we know that you're paying full attention to us. And I was like, interesting. Like, you know, for them it was like, oh, if we don't see a full screen webcam, we just assume that you're gonna be paying, like, even if it's not like, even if I don't pay 100% attention to the game, they know that it's not gonna be 100% on chat. You know what I mean? So it was really interesting to hear that. I was like, oh fuck, I didn't want to kill it. I wanted to catch it. But yeah, it was a really interesting discussion. I was like, oh, so that's why, you know, sometimes when you go from just chatting and everybody is like in chat and everybody is typing away, when you switch to a different directory or when you switch to a game, then people don't feel as connected to you. I was like, oh, interesting. So yeah, that was a little tidbit of info that I got from like a viewer at the time. It's sad because I don't remember who it was, but I don't think they're much around these days. For whatever reason, obviously, my schedule changed a lot. Honestly, getting a job really fucked me upside down all around. Because I was streaming, in some ways it didn't, but in some ways it did. I was like streaming every single day, which is not healthy, but I was doing it. And I was actually making thresholds. Like, it wasn't always every month, but I was making a threshold like every other month. And I was like, oh yes, we're doing it. But at the time, Twitch didn't pay you that month. Do you remember that? Like, if you were affiliate, Twitch would pay you like a month and a half later or something like that. And I would be like, oh shit, like I'm not being able to save up money because I'm just sort of like, I'm not, like, it's very, fuck, oh, I almost killed it. I wanted to catch it and I forgot. I was kind of like, oh, I'm poor. Because, like, I'm not able to buy everything that I want or everything that I need or things to upgrade the streams because my paychecks are so scattered that, whatever. I'm not complaining really, but you know what I mean. So I ended up getting a job, because for that year, and this was 18? Yeah, 2018. I got my current job, and because I was like, you know what, I'm tired of, like, my bank account is crying, and as much as I'm loving, like, getting, like, not making a living, but I was making a little less than I would, like, part-time. So I was like, you know what, I can get a part-time and I can do both. And then what had happened was, it was a dramatic change. Like, I went from every day, like, streaming from Monday through Sunday. And some of my most viewed streams at the time were Saturdays and Sundays. Because of, my schedule is usually morning for United States. And that's an audience that kind of got attached to me through time. So, unfortunately for them, I wasn't, like, by me dramatically changing that schedule from 7 days a week to 3 days a week, and it being 3 weekdays, people were kind of, nobody ever, like, blamed me. They were like, you have to do what you have to do, like, like, that's a responsible thing to get a job and whatever. But I got it. I was like, yeah, I mean, people aren't going to be able to be here for me because it's a completely different schedule, and I'm not going to be on for as long as I did. And obviously that doesn't work for everybody like that. But if you're in a stream and you're used to seeing that person on every day, I would assume that there's a little bit of an audience that wants to be there every day, or an audience that was like, oh, I wonder if he's gonna, like, finish the challenge, if he's gonna be able to do it, right? Because it was like a challenge. It was like a 200 or 300 day challenge. I don't think I was, well, I didn't make it because I got a job, so I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. In hindsight, I kind of could have thought of ways to work around it, but that was like almost 2 years ago, so by now it's like, who cares? But it's taken a toll on the stream, because it's ever since it's been me trying to adapt and be like, okay, that's what worked then, and now what works for me now, kind of thing, And it's funny because in a lot of advice videos, and at the time I was like, okay, let me watch some advice videos, maybe that will help me. A lot of those advice videos are like, oh, stream less, People like sometimes less is more. Stream like 3 days a week and whatever. Like stream in whatever schedule works for you. People will find you anyway or whatever. But that didn't really like pan out the way that I was expecting. So for a while, it's been an up and down journey since my job became a thing in my life. Hi! Came too fast, of course. It's been a minute. How are you doing? I don't like curse, so I'm getting rid of them. Do you play Final Fantasy XIV, Chalora, often? I liked it. I really did. It was probably like I've played a ton. Like growing up, I played a ton of those like free-to-play RPGs, like multiplayer RPG games. So like actually as an adult, I was like, I remember my first, it wasn't my first job, but it was my first job that I didn't quit after like a month. It was like more of a steady job. I was like, okay, let's, you know, do it. I remember I was like, oh, I can pay for a subscription for Final Fantasy, and I really liked it. Like, I think the game is really well made. It's very polished. You can definitely feel like they put the money that they earn into improving the game and into making the game super polished. So I really liked that. I just usually find that I don't put enough time into it that justifies me paying for it monthly. You know what I mean? So yeah. But honestly, that's a really good game to play off stream. You know what I mean? Like if you're a streamer and you save most of your gameplay for being on camera, that is a really good game that you can play off camera because I mean, I still saved it. I still saved certain things. I was like, oh, story things I want to save for camera. So I ended up doing a lot of like the side boring quests a lot of the times. So that's something that I need to work on as well in my own life. Like I don't like not showing you guys like important things in a game. Like with Pokemon, the only parts I'll play off camera are like when I'm going from city to city, like these parts, like that's what I do off camera. Like I fight trainers, I go into the tall grass to level up my Pokemon, I do raids, I do all of that stuff, but I save like the juicy parts of the game for camera. So sometimes you end up being like, ugh, I'm not streaming, like I'm gonna wait until I stream to do that. And then sometimes it takes a little bit of the hype away because you're like, even with new games, like I remember I got Fire Emblem on a Friday or a Thursday or something. No, I think it was a Friday. Actually, no, I think it... Whatever. It was towards the end of a week and I was like, oh, I can't like stream it because like I am... because I have work or whatever, so and I want to wait until I play it on camera, and then, you know, of course you get excited, you're like, oh my god, I can't wait until Monday. I think I used to stream on Mondays then. I was like, oh, I can't wait for Monday to stream and to play that game finally, you know. But sometimes it takes a little bit of the hype away because you're like, you want to play it right then and then, but you want to save like your reactions for stream. And that's not a complaint at all. Like I love doing that. That's why I started streaming. Like when I remember like when I had games, I was like, oh my god, I want to like show people like my reactions to things. I want to show people, I want to do commentary on the games. I want, you know, I want to give my opinion on the games. I want to give a play-by-play. I want to make like voices for characters. Like I remember like I had those things that I really wanted to do. But I guess that's a little bit of a sacrifice that comes with streaming. It's like, oh, you save the juicy stuff for camera. And sometimes I do that with conversations. Sometimes like if I get to into a specific topic, I'm like, oh wait, save for it. Let's save it for the podcast. You know? So it's not like a bad thing. It's just something that kind of happens. And I feel like every streamer can relate, like whether they want to tell you or not. Like there's just certain things, excuse me, my nose is itchy. There's just certain things that you want to save for camera. Because you don't want to like be unimpressed if something exciting happens, you know? Because you're like, oh, I knew it, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe you do. Or maybe it's not that big of a deal if you're shocked or not. But, you know, I would like to believe that there are people that care about like that first reaction when you play a game or whatever. But I don't know. I am kind of losing that a little bit because I've become someone who, that sounds so dramatic, because I am not really someone who plays like the latest games. I feel like when people are looking for first reactions to a game, they want to see it like release date. You know what I mean? Like if the game has been out for a month, I don't know if there's a community that's like waiting for my reaction on the game, you know? I feel like maybe some will even assume that I already know, like even if I haven't played the game, that I know about the game because the game has been out for a month, you know? So that is also something that is not in the back of my mind when I stream, but off stream I do have those thoughts of like, okay, don't watch that. Let's save that for stream. I used to do that with K-pop stuff. Like I used to do K-pop reactions on my YouTube channel. And I want to do those more. Like I don't think I have the most dramatic reactions, but I do think that if I went into it more, I would go more with an analysis kind of approach to it. I would be like, ooh, that vocal was really nice, or that visual was really cool. And then I would kind of go back and listen to it rather than being like, whoa, oh my god, and like trying to amp up my reaction to match with like what others were doing or whatever. Hi Billy, how are you? The sun powers this Pokemon's electricity generation. Interruption of that process stresses Helioptile to the point of weakness. Welcome to Gossip and Games. She's playing Pokemon. She's talking about a lot of different topics, like random topics, really. We already went into like a little bit of gaming news earlier. And now we're playing Pokemon Shield. We're heading towards the 4th gym city, which is like, I can't remember the name of it, but we're going there. It's not Hop. It's not. No, that's my rival. It has an interesting name. Anyway, doesn't matter. I think it's the electric gym type, if I remember correctly. I think I saw a cutscene where they said it was like a gym, like a electric type. Whatever, doesn't matter. You're doing really good. Nice. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. It's been a good time. It's been a good time today. Like very chill. That word doesn't mean anything. It's been pleasant. Like we've had good discussions about things. We've had you know, I looked at like gaming releases for February, like what games are coming out. I looked at the Xbox Gold and the PlayStation Plus lineups for the month of February, and I've just been kind of like, it's been a stream of consciousness, you know, like not in a literal way, but the conversation has been a stream of consciousness, like kind of like whatever topic just comes to mind, whatever things just flow with the conversation. That's kind of it. Like I don't really have a list of topics. I don't really have like speeches or questions prepared about anything. It's just kind of like I'm looking at the game, talking about things in the game, talking about things in the chat, and it's kind of a back and forth between the two, and it's kind of give and take between community, between game, between opinions, all of the above. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. What are your plans for today? What are you gonna be up to? Are you gonna be working? Are you gonna be studying? Are you going to be like playing games, cleaning, being productive, going grocery shopping? I have a hard time saying grocery shopping. That's a really hard word combination there. You know what's funny, and I catch myself doing this all the time. When I do my podcast, I have a hard time saying, what about you, Chalora? Because sometimes I say, what about you? And then it's like, what about you, Chalora? Like, it ends up being like very weird. I don't know why. I don't know. My accent just comes through every once in a while. But I notice sometimes, like when I'm saying it or when I'm like hearing it back, I'm like, oh, that sounded funny. Exercising. Ooh, taking a relaxing bath. Then a game. Then a movie. Nice. What have you been playing? What have you... Nope. What game have you been spending your time on? I honestly, you know what game I play off camera? Ring Fit Adventure. I don't really count it as playing a game because it's exercise. But honestly, I can't really think of like, I don't play. I know it sounds weird, like a streamer saying he doesn't play games, but I don't. Like off stream, I will most likely watch like stuff on YouTube. Honestly, I'll watch a stream. If a friend is streaming, I will watch them. But other than that, honestly, I kind of wish, like sometimes my day goes by and I'm like, all you've done was scroll through Twitter, and that needs to change. You know what I mean? So definitely a mood that I've tried to, I'm trying to, no, I'm not actively trying to work on it, but it's something that I should kind of work on, because you don't want to have like gaming just as a stream thing. Like, you should take a little bit of time to, you know, if you're a gamer, obviously, like if you only play games on stream and you're fine with it, that's cool. But for me, it's important sometimes to to kind of reclaim gaming as a hobby. And I don't quite do that enough, actually. I really don't. And I should. Long story short, I should. Even movies, like I get too distracted sometimes by like social media and Twitter and sometimes like YouTube or whatever, that I don't really like do anything else. Like sometimes I literally, my day was like me like refreshing Twitter. And that there's that, you know what I mean? You play Just Dance off stream for exercise, and you've been playing Blush Blush? What is that game? Blush Blush? How come I've never heard of that? Is that a naughty game? I don't know. My initial thought is like, if the game is called Blush, is it like a dating sim? Is it like, not that dating simulators are inherently naughty, and there's nothing wrong if they were. But yeah. Speaking of naughty games. Wait, what? What did I do? What did you do, Chalora? Just kidding. Your friend is making one? Yes. Oh, you know it. You know what the funny thing is about my YouTube channel? I used to play video games on there, and sometimes I would play like obscure, like visual novels and stuff like that. You know what's like one of my higher viewed like playlists? There's this game. It's a visual novel called fuck. What is it called? Demon Crashers, cute Demon Crashers, something like that. It's basically like a thing where you're a woman and like four different like demons, I guess, but they're like humanized, right? They only have like horns or like wings or whatever. Like crash into your place, and there's like three men and one girl, demon boys, and the game is like I remember at the time it was a big deal because the game had a consent feature with it. So basically, like within the game, because it was a dating sim, like they would be like sex scenes at the end, and they were like censored. Like they would have like a version where everything was censored, so you could like do YouTube or Twitch. And I remember, I think because like some of those titles are really spicy. But you could basically in the middle of like the character making out, there was a button in the corner of the screen where like if you were uncomfortable with it and you didn't want to watch anymore, or if you just wanted to see what would happen, you could click on it, and and the other person would be like, "Oh, I understand. Don't worry. Like we don't have to go any further." You know what I mean? So I remember that was a big deal at the time because people were like, "Wow, this is like teaching." I think I saw it on Tumblr. Because at the time, I feel like Twitter wasn't really super woke about stuff like that. So I remember seeing that I think on Tumblr, and I was like, ooh, that's really cool. I want to play that. And plus the characters were really like cute. And you could see, like, there was an uncensored version and you could see it all, honey. But no, it was a really cute game. But anyway, I used to play a lot of visual novels. My old laptop sucked. So I wanted to make gaming videos anyway, so I would play like Minecraft in the lowest settings possible, and I would play like visual novels. It's a dating sim of man turned into animals that you need to turn back into humans, and there's an option to do it not naughty. Ooh. I guess he's not really my friend, but I watch him on Instagram for a long time. Coincidentally, he's making a gay visual novel similar to Bravely Default. A gay visual novel? I approve. I think there was a different... I don't know if it was Cute Demon Crashers. I actually don't remember. I think it was. I think the developers of that game were working on a gay version, like where the main character is a male. But I don't remember if like any progress was made with that or anything like that. I remember there was like a game like that where they took feedback, I guess, from fans, and they were like, okay, let's make the next one gay. I've never played Bravely Default. I saw the trailer for the Switch version because I think they're bringing the original and they're making the second one, right? So I saw that and I thought it looked cute, but I don't know much about it, to be completely honest with you. Like when I hear Bravely Default, I assume it's, I think it is like a, Jesus Christ, my phone. I assume it's like old school Final Fantasy style game. It's like a turn-based combat. Unless I'm confused, I'm like confusing it with something else. My phone is like, I'm running out of battery. I would love for like a gay version of a game like that. Although I know that's not what a visual novel is, but I think it would be really cute. Really nice. Really good. I keep saying cute. I need to say like other words. Vocabulary. I'll DM you. Please. Yes. Yes, please. It's a really good game. Nice. You can mix the job abilities, which you learn over time. Ooh. Wasn't there a Final Fantasy like that? I think it was 9. Where, like, you had the weapons, and there were certain weapons that you could learn abilities that weren't really, like, character specific or something. Oh, no. Well, 9 had that. No, 10 had that. But it was... I liked the weapons. Yeah, I liked the weapons and the abilities. Yeah, Bravely Default reminds me of Final Fantasy 3. I've never beaten it. I think I started that playthrough like 3 times. But I've never beaten it. But I really want to play like Final Fantasy games that I haven't played yet. And there's a lot of them actually. Or Final Fantasy games that I've never beaten. So I've played... for not completion, but I cleared, I guess. I didn't 100% any, but I played all the way through to the end. I played 1, and then 8. So anything from 1, like basically 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, I've never played all the way through. I've played 8 all the way through. I played 9, 10 all the way through. 10-2. I don't know if I'm going to count that because it's a sequel. Well, I'm going to count it. 5. And then I played the prequel to Final Fantasy VII on PSP. Crisis Core was the name. So that's 6. I played 11. I never played. 12 I played, but I didn't complete. 13 I played. So that's 7. I played 13-2 all the way to the end too. I had a bad ending with that one. I think there were multiple endings. I got the bad one. And then 14 I've played, but you know, it's an online game. I guess you can't beat it. I guess you can, like story-wise, whatever. Anyway, never beat that one. 15 I beat. I didn't play the last DLC, but I beat that. So out of the many, many Final Fantasy games, I beat like 7 or 8 of them. I lost count. So yeah, I want to play them, but I feel like a lot of the ones that I haven't played, I feel like aren't as like relevant. So in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, nobody's gonna care about that. If I play it on stream, it's gonna like suck. It's gonna flop. But like, I don't know, like if I'm excited about it, maybe people will. And I'm trying not to let like stuff like that happen because once you realize that you're not that creator that gets the game's release date and you're not gonna play the latest game at the latest time and whatever, I feel like you're always before you realize that, you're gonna be like, you know what? I'll just do whatever. Because, you know, I can't just be like, oh, I'm playing the game late. Like a week later, I'm like, I'm playing the game late. Like, who cares almost? You know what I mean? So in a way, I'm kind of fine with the idea of like, not really getting like the latest games anymore, like at least for a while, because I have such a big backlog of games that I'm like, oh, I'm getting this on sale because I want to get into it eventually on stream, all of this, all of that, and then I don't do that. Are you paused to look at the Juicy Man art? Wait, you sent it to me? Oh, I didn't see it. Oh. Oh. It's a Patreon. Oh. Oh. Oh, I can't really see anything though. Cause I'm not cause I'm not a patron. Oh, there you go. There's samples. Now I'm gonna be looking at the art. At the samples, I guess, of the art. Do they have do they do they have a release date in mind? Oh wait. Oh, campaign begins March 1st. Oh. It's gonna be is it gonna be multiplayer? Oh wow, okay, I just saw a not safe for work art. Or is the campaign like a fundraiser campaign that they mean? That's a whole penis. I know, yeah. I was like, oh damn. I was like, oh wow, we're doing that, huh? Um, and I kind of want to get a little bit more into like the indies because I used to pay a little bit more attention to them when I couldn't run like the triple A's and I didn't have like a console and I didn't have a big budget, you know. Um, and I feel like it would be cute to and let you guys let me know if you would be interested in and this is just an idea. I'm not saying my streams will become that, but I've thought of the idea of sometimes playing a game like on my game days I play like a new game or I play like basically I play one game a different game every week. Like today I play like an hour of Pokemon, like the first 2 hours of Pokemon, the first 2 hours of Temtem, the first 2 hours of this, the first 2 hours of that. But I don't know what I could do to turn that into like, okay, for the people who are interested in that game, how do I give them more of that content, if that makes sense? So to me, because I love gaming so much as well, like I don't want it for to me. I'm having a hard time with like, oh, I'm only playing one game, and it's like once a week, and it's because it's only once a week. It's gonna take me a long time to get through it. But it's also like I want to give them more variety, but at the same time, um, I don't know. You know what I mean? So that's an idea that I toyed with. Like I could try to get more indie titles and like play like new indies every week and stuff like that. Or whether or not you like whether or not you pay for them or not, because with indies sometimes it can be easy for you to get a free copy of it because the developers are they're not necessarily looking for the bigger streamers. They're so a lot of the times, unfortunately, indie developers just want as many people as possible to look at their games, so they just give out like a bunch of copies to people who like me, like that have maybe like a 10-ish average viewership. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying like it could be a path that I could take. But a part of me is like, but what would I do with like my pending Pokemon playthrough and like all these things that I want to show people, because I'm gonna miss doing those. But I'm always feeling like I'm playing catch up. I'm like, I feel like by the time I'm done with this Pokemon game, there's gonna be a new Pokemon game, and I'm gonna be like, damn it. Like I feel like I'm always playing catch up to like what the cool kids are doing. Well, I feel like, if I'm doing like a new game, even if it's an indie title, I'm gonna be in a way more credible as like a a gaming personality. Like, oh, he knows what he's talking about. He plays like a lot of the latest games or whatever. Like, I don't know. That sounds weird. I feel like as long as you're a gamer, it doesn't really matter. Like, if you play the latest AAAs and stuff like that, you know, whatever. That was just like brain vomit. I'm like, that's what I'm thinking. Let me put that out there. And then mid sentence, I'm like, that's not a good idea. Let's not say that. Let's not do that. That happens to me a lot. I'm like, oh, I've been thinking about this, guys. And then I'm like, I don't think I'll do it. I don't think I'll do it anyway. It's fine. Silly. Let me. I think we can end the stream and raid a friendo.